So, if you guys are following along, last week we talked about the 35 Pontiac Silver Streak that I bought for my father. And, we left off because my dad was a little bit upset that I was going to have to drive all the way home with an empty trailer. You guys know we took care of that. And that's what we're going to talk about on this week's Monday Morning Memory from Pugliese Speed Shop. So before we head over here to the books, I'm going to share something over here with you guys right quick. Today's Father's Day, and it's kind of ironic I'm doing this video, and you'll see why. But this is something my old man said that had to go to me. 1964 GTO convertible. So you kind of understand as we go on here. But let me show you Megan the Kid guy. I mean, this is just straight awesome. I talked about my Uncle Buddy before, and he's an author. And apparently Mick wants to check this out as well. All of his books, 24 books. I have some of them he gave me earlier and he signed and stuff, but all the books are right there. Those are some fancy bookend stuff in that box. And there's a cool bookcase I'm going to put somewhere down here. So I keep saying things are going to change down here, so maybe it'll actually happen. We'll do a little organization. I got to figure out where we're going to go. But now we'll go over here to the books, and I wish more than anything that I could go to this book and show you something about this car. But my dad didn't have any pictures of his, so it's on the cover. My 1964 Pontiac Lemans. So, a lot of Pontiacs in this book, huh? Weird. Oh yeah, we got right to it. Get there, and it's okay. Is that the first picture of it? Sure, because there's a caddy. We talked. Beautiful car, guys. Model. All right. So, this is actually in my parents' driveway. Unfortunately, there's a PT Cruiser in it right there. All right, yeah. But there's the Le Mans. It's got 1500 written on the window there. We didn't pay that. There's Rudy Dog. Look at this guy. All right. This is my Toyota. There's a Dakota with the trailer. You guys, we towed it back to my mom and dad's house because, well, that's where we were at when we left. Straight 6, 215 Pontiac with a Power Glide. It was when we had panoramic pictures, guys. Look at that, huh? So it was a hardtop. I think it was originally blue. We took it down to bare metal, guys, to see what we were working with. And we were working with a lot of rust. Then we primed it. That red oxide. There she is sitting next to Casey's 55 Caddy. This is in Chip's yard when we were all littering his yard with cars. And yeah, that's the end of that. That's all the pictures I got. I think I got one or two more. If I do have them on my phone, I'll have the kid put them in. But let's sit down and talk about it. Why was I so obsessed with having this car? So I was texting my mom earlier, right? And being it's Father's Day, she said, hope you go out, have a good day, and, enjoy time with Andrew, and tell some stories of your father, which you guys know I do all the time. So it's kind of funny that I'm recording this video. That's why I say it's kind of ironic. I'm recording this video today because if I didn't hear 1,000 stories about my dad's 64 Le Mans, I never would have bought mine. I heard it was the fastest car in like all of Malvern, right? Like everybody on Long Island was worried about this car. It had his car was a 326. I think it had like a Slim Jim transmission in it. I remember it was blowing out all the time. He eventually put a turbo 350, shift kit, all that, and the thing was great. But 326 was not known for their power. It was known for reliability. Well, if you know anything about Pontiacs, there's no big block, small block. It's all one wide block. And everything from a 326 up to a 455 will bolt on the same block. The 301 I got my Le Mans right now, totally different platform, but, don't worry about that. So, we hear these stories all the time growing up. The car was never painted. I want to say it was primer black forever. It was crazy loud. He had to shut it off a block from my mom's house to pick her up to go out because my grandfather, New York City cop, he wasn't having that. But it wasn't just a stock 326. He had a buddy of his wrecked a 67 Tempest or GTO or something somehow, which kind of reminds me of my Mustang story. My old man stuck that thing in his parents' garage and they didn't even know it. He didn't have a cherry picker to pull the motor because it had a 389. He pulled the heads off, put it on that thing, and he made himself some compression like maniac, and that's why this car was just nuts. So, I heard all these stories, but he eventually sold it. I don't think he blew it up. I don't think he wrecked it. I think he sold it. Maybe, I don't know. I forget. But I know I heard the story growing up, and all I wanted was a 64 Lemans. So I got a bonus from the Navy, and I had money burning a hole in my pocket, which is why we started buying stuff, guys. That's just how it happened. And $800, this guy had it on eBay in Long Island City. I was like, I'm going to be out there. Sure. Buy it now. So we're at my parents' house. See, we're back to you get it. So the next morning, I tell my dad, I said, well, I'm not going home like that night. I said, I'm not going home with an empty trailer. We're going in the morning to Long Island and get this. And he's like, let's go. So we jump in the truck. We shoot to Long Island. And guys, I kind of forgot how far out Long Island City was. But we get out there, and this guy's got a shop, and he's got stuff everywhere. Like a repair shop, but he had some projects and whatnot. He told me it was rusty and needed floors. Thing ran and drove. Great. No brakes. Mass cylinder was done. So I remember the weirdest thing to me, the key was over here, like right next to the door. And I'd never seen that before. And my old man was like, oh, right there. Yeah, that's how mine was. He's reminiscing. Well, then we step back and take a look at this car. It was painted with a brush and a roller. Like one guy was rolling on the maroon color, and then like the triangle across the whole hood there was black with a brush. The dash was painted black with a brush. It had some carpeting, like industrial carpeting from like a warehouse, like maybe like an office or something like that. The floor pans didn't go down. In fact, the gas pedal wasn't even there. It was just a little roller thing because he just sheet metal screwed in the floors. And it was fine. I didn't care. $800, guys, right? Low back buckets. Headliner was put back together with very thick black thread for some reason, just sewn up. The back seat was tore up. The trunk pan was the same as the floor pans. I mean, it was pretty bad. The quarters had holes in it, this big, just blown out. The rockers were, and they didn't repop those. People were worried about those. Find that out later. But guys, I was like, this thing's awesome. I loved it. I loved the look of the car. I still love the look of the car. And everybody wants the hardtop. That's what this was. But I've grown a little more fond to the postcars over the years, but that's besides the point. So we get this thing, put it on the trailer. We stopped at my uncle's house. He lived in Plainview at the time. Hung out with him for a little bit. Then we got some lunch, whatever. And then he's looking at my car because you guys met him. He's at the '65 Mustang, so he's checking that thing out. He's reminiscing with my dad about the '64 he had, and we shoot back to the house up in PA, and we eventually head home. I get it home. You guys saw in the pictures. I take this thing down to nothing. Prime everything. I put a master cylinder in it. It ran and drove so good. It wasn't charging. That's another thing, yeah. So I put a one wire in it, new battery, and I was like, I love it. And I just started rocking this thing. I did not care. Luckily, back then, North Carolina didn't have any kind of state inspections because I don't think she would have passed. Actually, I know she wouldn't have passed. But none of that mattered because I loved it, and I'd shoot it back and forth to work. Just whatever. It was just a good little beater. It was cool. It was a cool beater. Headlights worked. I don't think turn signals did. You know, whatever. But when I had that thing, I must have had it 3 or 4 years. Like I said, nothing crazy. I did buy a 326 for it. I said, okay, you know, I picked up a 326 and I wanted to do the 389 head thing. I stumbled upon a tri-power intake. So I had that sitting there ready to go. It had the power glide. I had a 350 turbo trans ready for it. I was getting this thing ready to go. Like I was planning on, but guys, it ran so good I couldn't stop driving this thing. So I ended up, I went on deployment 2006 on the Enterprise. Internet was spotty at best, but late at night you get on the internet and you could everybody's in the rack. So I'm looking at parts and I'm trying to find parts, and I'm buying stuff and it's I stumble upon a 64 GTO in Texas. It's gorgeous. It's something I can afford, and there's no way I could have put my Le Mans into the shape this GTO was for anywhere near the asking price. And the GTO was a 428 4-speed car with a, I think it had a 9-inch in it and 411s, and I was like, well, decided to sell the Le Mans. I sold off. I didn't do anything with the motor, so it was all just sitting there. I ended up selling that in parts and made a lot of money off of it, which was sweet because I had a GTO to pay for now. And I ended up selling the car. I think I put it on eBay as well. And a guy came from Florida to pick it up. He was the one that told me about the rocker. Oh, they don't repop them, and he's trying to use that as like a negotiation tactic, but I really didn't care. Because, well, he was getting, I thought it was good. I think I got $2,000 out of it, $2,500, something like that. So yeah, I made a little money on it, but I put some time into it and some money into it. And it, I remember one time coming home from work, actually going to work, the throttle cables broke right at the pedal, which was just a little roller thing. I was like, oh man, this is not good. So I drove the rest of the way to work, leaning under the dash, pulling the throttle cable to get to work. I went on the base like this. Like I went through the gate. The guy's like, what do you, I said, it happens. I went to work, went out to the ordies, the ordnance guys messing with the weapons and whatnot on the plane. And they had cable and they had, crimps and stuff. So I was like, hey man, I gotta take care of this. So I got one of their cables and I swedged it there and I pulled and swedged it and fixed that. And then that was it. That's really the only problem that thing ever gave me in like the 3 or 4 years I drove that thing around. And it was free to fix. And that was a pain in the ass, right, like that. But yeah, so he was bringing it to Florida. He was talking he was going to restore it. You know what? Now I think about it, did I give him the 320? No, I think I sold it. Yeah, I sold that separate. And guys, the 215 in that car, it ran so good. And I love the way it actually drive, the way it drove and everything, which is why my 53 Pontiac now has a 215 from a 64 Tempest in it and a power glide from a 64 Impala, because it was so smooth. It was just a great cruiser, and that's why I do that in the Chieftain. So a little memory of that car will live on, because you guys know the Pontiac, she ain't going nowhere. But yeah, that's the reason why I had the 64 Le Mans, what I did with it, and why I might go looking for another one. Hopefully the kid don't show us to Megan. Thanks for watching, guys.